Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully we can all get settled in, inshallah, and stop the private conversations. So 2 sessions, as I was mentioning earlier. The first 20 minutes will be the reflections, tadabbur, thinking about how can I apply this in my life. So it wouldn't be a lot of historical context, but mostly about what can I take from this verse and how can I make my life better, how can I make my thinking better, my actions better, my heart better. And that will be the focus of this session. Just to be focused on this, so we are encouraging people to do this at home as well, to take the book, read the translation, read the tafsir, and look at how you improve your life. But do not take it in a sense that you're reading too much into it, because the other extreme would be that someone would read one verse and try to extract what is halal and what is haram. That's not how it's done. The scholars, the ulama, the people that you trust, they will give you the hukum. If you want to know the ruling of something, you ask the people that you trust, the people of knowledge, on what is permissible, what is impermissible. You don't take one verse and bring about your own Islam. So that would be the dangerous thing to do. So let's be focused on that. If you haven't registered, please do go on the website. There's a page about the Quran circles. Register there, so that any announcements, any new tools, new stuff that comes out will be sent to the mailing list to the people who have registered. There's other stuff that I will talk in the second session, which is more related to the Quranic Arabic, which is also very important, whether you do it here or anywhere. But really, in today's time and age, we don't really have an excuse not to be able to understand Quran. So right now, when we were praying Isha, there were some really beautiful verses being recited. So imagine if you had the ability to understand that, so every salah, you are benefiting from that. So there was a deal that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned. So most of us are coming from work, family, this and that, different things on our mind. But all of a sudden you hear a deal from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala where He is calling out to us and saying, shall I inform you of a successful trade? So that went there, right, during the Isha Salah. Another thing that went was the title of Ansarullah and our identity as the helpers of Allah, as the helpers of the deen of Allah, and so on and so forth. So understanding Arabic will empower you to get that when you are praying, when you're reading, when you're in Taraweeh, and so on and so forth. So that's going to be our second session. These slides are all in the Google folder that will be linked in the video description. So the folder looks like this. So here are the slides. I'll show you the link again so you can take a picture and you get to the folder if you want. And it will have some grammar PDFs as well that we will cover in the second half of the session. And the notes that I'm taking, for example, we covered Surat Al-Kahf. We just finished it last week, alhamdulillah. They're in this document. Just 29 notes will go in there. So if you want to review that, if you want to start your own circle with your family, friends, so on and so forth, so that could be a great help to you as well, inshallah. Let me quickly show that. And the websites and the app that we are using that we recommend are Quran Hive, and there's a demo. So if you look at the playlist, I've already demoed these tools, so I'm not going to do that again in the interest of time. And there's also Quran.com and corpus.quran.com. These are the tools that you will see on my laptop and on your screens during the sessions. So this could be really, really helpful tools. And then if you want a really short tafsir, it's called Tafsir Saudi. It's also available online and on this link. So you can see here, for example, and you can get some details out of that as well. Going on, let me give you the link for the slides. I believe this QR code will take you to this slide deck. So if you want to take a picture of that, or you will just find it in the video description, whatever is easier for you. Just going to leave it there for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. All right. Okay, so quickly, Quran.com is a really good resource. It gives you the word by word as well. Also, if you click here on this book, then it will give you the tafsir. Tafsir Ibn Kathir. So that's there. Quran Hive also have this, but I think the Tafsir ibn Kathir is not complete here. It has other benefits, that there's an audio tafsir that you can listen to if you choose to. So both interfaces have some pros and cons. You can play around and utilize it however you like. Quran Hive app is generally good because I was showing to the brother, especially for those of you who can't read Arabic, you can just click on one word and it will just read that word. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into our session for today. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. Should use this. Give me one moment. I'll change the setting. So I like to have two translations open because that's usually beneficial. Thought I had done the setting already. Apparently not. And it also has transliteration, so someone was asking about it before the class, so you can also turn on transliteration on the app as well. Translation, transliteration, and I'm going to choose one more here. So here, right, so if you look at the questions that we had asking about, so think about this, what do we learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from this verse? So that's the first and foremost question for us to think about. So in this scenario, let's see what we can get from the audience here. What do we learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And you can, if you don't want to think like that, you can think about it that if you're using this verse to advise a friend of yours, what advice would you give them? So first we identify what information do we get, and then the second thing is, how do we apply it in our lives? So what do we learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from this verse? So we have three key information here. Okay, let's see if I can get them from you guys and girls. Right, number one. Who's going to give me the first one? Allah is blessed. Okay, so let's talk about that. What does blessing means? So blessing means to have an increase in goodness. To have an increase in goodness. So blessing is what makes 2 plus 2 equals 22. 222, 2000. Right? So it's not something that you can compute that, okay, I have $10, but not everyone's $10 or $100 or $1,000 will have the same impact in life. So when Allah blesses your wealth, when Allah blesses your life, when Allah blesses your family, your health, then you're able to accomplish and achieve way more than what someone just counting the numbers will think about. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is blessed, and He's a source of all blessings. He is the one that blesses our life. So what will be a practical implication of that? So once you realize that, how would that potentially change and shift your paradigm in this world, shift your actions in this world? So here is an example to get us started, right? So it's time for Friday prayers. Okay, now you think, look, if I don't go for Friday prayers, maybe I can make a deal, maybe I can call some clients, maybe I can call some potential customers, maybe my boss will not be happy with me, maybe I'll lose on my promotion, maybe I'll not hit my bonus or my goals and what have you. But if you're not thinking just the numbers, and you believe in the unseen, and you believe that Allah is the one who is blessed and the source of all blessings, then you would not be hesitant to take the road of following the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to step away from your work, from your studies, and be able to take time for salah, or to be able to take time for Friday prayers and so on and so forth. You have an excellent opportunity to use the conventional markets, the conventional leverage system, and borrow money. And you'll say, hey, you know what, I'll borrow money on 3% interest and I'll make like 10% profit on that, and then I'll give that 3% interest back, I'll walk away with 7% profit. But if you understand the concept of blessing, you understand that it's not the numbers, it's not the 7% that I made, but even if I made 2% with halal ways, that will be more blessed than me making 7 in an impermissible manner. Okay? So that helps us to shift our thinking from just the numbers, but to look beyond that and to realize the importance of blessings. Any other comments on blessing or how you can think about blessings in your life? For example, a story that you would like to share before we move on. Okay, this is supposed to be a two-way dialogue, hopefully. Okay, we're just warming up.
Can you zoom it out a bit? Yes.
Okay. Comments? No? All right. So moving on. What's the second thing that we learned about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala?
He's powerful.
Okay. And He controls what? Everything. Okay. So again, going back to the same point. What do we want in life? Because everyone is chasing things in the dunya and hopefully chasing things in the hereafter as well. So whether you are chasing and your top concern, your top of your mind is Jannah and retirement in Jannah, vacation in paradise, or even if you're worried about this world, finances, health, relationship, marriage, children, it's all in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot and I cannot get any of that unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows that to happen. And if Allah doesn't want that to happen, no matter how hard we work, it will not happen for us. Okay? And if something doesn't happen, that does not mean that Allah subhanahu. So if we achieve what we want to achieve, does that mean Allah loves us? Who thinks that if we get what we want, right? If we are healthy, if we are wealthy, if we are successful, if we have good family, is that a sign that Allah loves us? No. Okay, so that's very important to realize that you achieving what you want is not a sign of Allah loving you. And same way, if you do not achieve what you want, that's also not a sign that Allah hates you or doesn't like you. Okay, there is a wisdom behind everything that comes your way. So the results are in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but the efforts are our responsibility. What effort am I putting? Am I lazy? Am I working hard? Am I giving up? That's something that I am accountable for and you are accountable for. But the results are in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if we truly understand that, then it would not make sense to disobey Allah and please some creation. Like whether it be our boss, our client, partners, professor, teachers, friends, to please them to achieve what we want. By displeasing the one who actually owns these things. That wouldn't make sense. Right? But when we become narrow-sighted or narrow-minded, then we try to prefer the creation who doesn't own anything and displease the creator, the owner of everything. Okay, so that's the second thing that we learn from this. Okay, any comments on this point of Allah being the owner, Allah having the authority and fully in charge of all dominion, all that exists? Okay, so last point that we learn from here is that Allah is able and capable of doing anything and everything. So that really empowers you to not limit yourself. Many different examples can come under that. One simple example would be, someone in the family being sick, right? So you go to who you consider the experts in the world, and you go to doctors, they say, look, I can't do anything about it. This person will die in like 6 months, 3 months, or there's no solution to this. That's him or the team of doctors or engineers speaking based on their experience, based on their competencies. That does not mean that there's no solution for that. So understanding that Allah is able to do everything will shift your life. A, you will make dua, you will not give up making dua. You will keep asking Allah to make what you want happen. B, you will put the best that you can do. And there are many examples. Like one example we have here is like our brother, he comes to the masjid, sits and prays with us in the first row. Like 3 or 4 years ago, the doctor said, again, based on their estimate, that you have 6 months to live. Right? May Allah protect him, preserve him. He still comes. He went for Umrah after that, so on and so forth. But that's their opinion. But when you realize the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you live in a different dimension. continuing on for the next verse, and this is really important. I mean, everything is important, but especially this, based on a lot of misconceptions that we have today. الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا وهو العزيز الغفور. So this verse that tells us that He is the one who created death and life in order to test which of you is best in deeds. And He is the Almighty, the All-Forgiving. So if you look at this is the verse that talks about the purpose of life. And because if we don't get it, then we might get upset with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we might even not understand the purpose of this life. We might not understand the existence of God or the Creator and so on and so forth. So many people, for example, have this misconception that if there is a God, why is there pain in this world? Why are people suffering? Why is there pain in this world? So Allah never claimed or told or promised us that this is a place where you will have no pain, you will be in comfort. He never promised that. So right now, hopefully everybody is comfortable. There is tea on the sister's side. I don't see any tea on the brother's side. You can see there is? Okay, good. So we are following the equality. You guys can grab the tea if you want without making too much noise before it gets cold. So right now, alhamdulillah, everybody's comfortable, right? Everybody's comfortable. I see some people sitting on the floor, but in general, there is enough seating available. Everybody is hopefully comfortable, right? Now, obviously, if we were to go after the class to the gym, then we don't expect you to be comfortable, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never said that this is like a banquet that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for us and everything will be fine in this world. That was never a promise. That is a promise, but when? In Jannah, in paradise. If you make it there, then yes, then you don't have to work, you don't have to pay taxes, you don't have to go to school, you don't have to pray, you don't have to fast, nothing. However, in this world, this is the promise that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ. So it's a testing ground. You will be tested with different situations, with hardship, with ease, with pain, with comfort, with health, lack of health, diseases, COVID, financially being well, with layoffs, with markets going down. So many different things will come, ups and downs, and then you are being tested for who can do more, right? Is that the test? Not the quantity, but the quality, right? So who is best in deeds? So in terms of your intention, what was the real reason you were doing that? And so the quality, the reason, and how well did you do it? Okay, so that's the purpose of this life, that you're consistently and constantly being tested. So it's not like a one-time thing that if you fail that test, then that's it. No, you can repent, you can learn from your mistakes. So you, for example, let's say you fall into a sin, right? You missed your salah. Then you realize, okay, well, what happened? Why did that happen? Was I with the wrong people? Was I just up all night unnecessarily? What can I do to learn from this mistake and not make it happen the next time? So it's a consistent and ongoing test. So that's the purpose of this life. And then we learn about the two names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse again, which is, number one, Allah is Almighty. Okay? So again, realizing that if something happens to us as individuals or as community, as Muslims, right, in different countries, different places, realizing that people are not overpowering Allah. It's all by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there's a reason behind it, there's a wisdom behind it, and no one can overpower Allah. Okay? And this is again something that we also heard in our Salah, the Isha prayer, right? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that He is the one who has sent this religion, and this religion will overpower everything else. Every other religion, every other philosophy, for even the ones who dislike it may dislike it. It will overpower, right? So the question is, what are we doing about it? It will happen regardless if we make effort or not. It will happen with or without us. The question is what part we want to play in that. So He is Aziz, nothing can happen without His permission, no one can overpower Him, no one can overtake Him, and so on and so forth. And then, so this is also, from another angle, would be like when we disobey Allah, to realize who we are disobeying. Right? We are disobeying the Al-Aziz. How can we do that, right? When it comes to someone who has power in this world, a big customer, right? Depending on whatever field we are in, right? So you may, for example, sometimes you may not listen as much to your manager, let's say if you're working. But if your CEO or VP directly asks you to do something, right? Hopefully we'll have a higher priority for that. Those of us who are in non-profit, if there's a small donor versus a big donor, right? You will see who you are prioritizing. But when it comes to, imagine when you disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how can we do that? But at the same time, He's Al-Ghafur. So realize that if you make mistakes, we have to learn from that in a beneficial manner, right? So there's